Welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities. Presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Dr. Ashley Little, corporate executive by day, award-winning serial entrepreneur by night, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, and founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLC. Tonight, we have an amazing special VIP guest, the legendary Dr. Geneva Williams. A little bit about her. Award-winning executive, Dr. Geneva Jones Williams is a speaker, author, and a leadership strategy for business executives, entrepreneurs, and nonprofit leaders. She is the founder and CEO of Dr. Geneva Speaks, LLC, whose mission is to educate and inspire leaders for greater impact. Dr. Geneva also serves as the director for the Live Six Alliance, a nonprofit planning and development organization to enhance Detroit's quality of life and economic opportunity. Dr. Geneva led the United Way, founded an innovative multi-sector national partnership model, launched a new leadership development initiative for girls, and developed models of community engagement and strategic planning for nonprofits. She raised millions for community change initiatives and served as an education leader. Dr. Geneva recently was appointed to the Women's Commission by Michigan's governor and chairs its Visible Authentic Leadership Committee. Dr. Geneva hosts the Ignite to Impact podcast on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio, featuring influencers who are making a difference in businesses, nonprofits, government, and the arts. Her blogs inspire and educate women on aging vibrantly, everyday leadership and philanthropy. Dr. Geneva consults with nonprofits like Detroit Future Cities and the Crest Foundation, Crane's Detroit Business Cities, her as one of Detroit's most influential women. She is a Michigan Chronicle Woman of Excellence and was named the National Association of Business Women's Owners Top 10 Michigan Business Woman. For a significant portion of her career, Dr. Geneva was a guiding force for the United Way in the Detroit area. She was the first female president and Chief Executive Officer of United Community Services of Metropolitan Detroit, a $15 million United Way, where she developed and led a 3-year strategic plan resulting in staff retraining and organizational re-engineering to meet future challenges. Dr. Geneva also led the merger between two United Ways, where she became the first female executive vice president and COO, overseeing $42 million annually in agency allocation. She developed a strategic planning process that transformed the agency's fund distribution system, resulting in new outcome-based measurement systems for over 120 regional health and human services agencies. While at United Way, Dr. Geneva attended Harvard Business School and taught at the United Way of America's Academy of Volunteerism. Dr. Geneva was tapped by foundations and city officials to launch City Connect Detroit, an innovative national model to create and leverage public-private partnerships for increased funding for community needs. Dr. Geneva led the successful strategic planning process, implementation, and secured over $100 million for youth employment, education reform, access to fresh food, community development, and urban health. A frequent guest lecturer and panelist at regional, national, and international conferences, Dr. Geneva has served as chair of the Western Michigan University Trustee Board, a member of the First Independence National Bank Board, chair of several public school management companies, and vice president of the Detroit NAACP. She has been a recipient of many awards for her work, including the Bank of America's Local Hero Award, Ford Motor Company's Heritage Award, the Michigan Business and Professional Association's of Women and Leadership in the Workplace Award, and the National Association for Community Leadership's Distinguished Leadership Award. Through her company, Dr. Geneva Speaks, she consults coaches, speaks locally in national strategic planning, collaboration, leadership and personal development, work-life balance, and philanthropy. Dr. Geneva won the prestigious title of Miss Black Fit and Fine, a beauty pageant encouraging Healthy Lifestyles for Women Over 50. She is an alumni of Morgan State University, where she serves on Morgan's foundation board. Dr. Geneva is alumni of the Greater Wayne County chapter of the Lynx Incorporated, and she earned a doctorate in education leadership from Wayne State University. She received her master's degree with a concentration in community organization and social planning from Bryn Mawr School of Social Work and Research. Recently, Dr. Geneva was honored as a Golden Soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. She authored Living Life Over 50 in her new book, Justice on the Jersey Shore, about her father's transformational leadership while fighting social injustice during the civil rights movement. Launched as an Amazon bestseller. To learn more about Dr. Geneva, visit drgenevaspeaks.com. Welcome to the table, the legendary Dr. Geneva Speaks.
Ashley, thank you so much for having me. How are you doing? This is just so exciting for me to be at the table with you again. I love it.
Yes, I'm humbled to have you back at the table, Dr. Geneva. Thank you for setting the bar high for all of us and inspiring all of us, okay? And I know our audience have heard your amazing bio. So is there anything else you would like to add about your journey?
No, I just want to say again how throughout my life, the real blessings is that I've been able to meet such extraordinary people who show me each and every day the kinds of differences they make. How so many people are trying to make a positive difference in the world and trying to influence things for the better and take care of our children, and just so many amazing things in the world that so many people are doing, that I'm just really blessed to be in their presence and here with you.
I love it, and we're happy to have you. So let's talk more about, because I mean, you're doing and have done and broke glass ceilings on a daily basis. I mean, oh my God, really it just set the bar high. And so you work with women all over the world, business executives, leaders, CEOs, business, from many different companies. So why are you so passionate about helping women get to the next level?
Well, first of all, because I think women rule the world. And for those of us who don't, we will sure enough soon. And I really do believe that to be the best that God intends us to be, we have to do a lot of making sure that our capacity, our self-capacity to influence and to influence in the right way and to really be our best is developed. And I've had a lot of failures, mistakes, successes, lessons, and I'm just committed to helping women learn from those things so that they can be the best they can be, because I do believe we can design our life the way we want to, Ashley, and oftentimes we just need a little help. I know I needed a lot of help and stand on so many people's shoulders and here in this place mainly because of a lot of other people. And I think it's about whatever we can do to help each other grow and develop. So particularly since in later life, as I got to later life, Ashley, I realized how important legacy was, how vital it was to share the lessons learned, and how important it was to pass on skills. And so that's what I'm dedicated to these days.
I love it. And it's so powerful, right? Because, mentorship is important, right? Like you said, you needed someone. And so being able to reach back to help people who are coming after you to get to the level that you have already been, right? Being the first of many different companies and organizations is amazing. And so can we talk about the importance of mentorship? Because I think some people, miss that sometimes on the journey, and how important it is to make sure you are aligned with the right mentors too, that are where you want to be and are 30 steps ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having a support system, a mentor or mentors, a lot of them, I think is important. I also believe that I like to think that having a board of mentors, a board of directors, a group of people who have a variety of skills who can advise you at various steps in your life is very important. There's a couple things, though, that I think are important about mentorship. One is that being real clear about the expectations that you have for a mentor and a mentor has for you. So having that clarifying conversation with the person that you're asking to or you're being with in terms of, them mentoring you, so that both of you are real clear about what you hope to get out of the relationship, I think is very important. And I think, secondly, to make sure that the mentor that you choose has an idea about, or someone you can be very open about what your aspirations are, what your goals are, what it is that you want to do. And thirdly, I think a mentor who will listen and who will understand and who will give you back real talk is important. And mentors come in all sizes and shapes and forms, and you can find them at your workplace, you can find them in your church, they can be neighbors, they can be people you work with or used to work with. They can come in different shapes, but I do think it's important to, be real clear about what it is that you want out of the relationship. But, Ashley, even more important, I think, than a mentor is someone who can sponsor you, what I call sponsor. Now, maybe that can also be your mentor, but someone who can open doors for you and who can talk about you in a very positive way when you're not in the room, I think is very important, because that is a person who is using his or her influence to tell someone else about you and to encourage them to connect with you. That is very powerful, and you're not even there. And so that's very powerful. So having someone who will sponsor you, open the doors, push contracts your way, walk into a room and say, this room is missing someone. I've got the perfect person who should be here on our team. I think that is just as important, if not more important, than a mentor.
Oh, oh my, wow. I hope our audience is writing these amazing nuggets that Dr. Geneva is sharing down, because that is so important, knowing the difference between a sponsor and a mentor, right? That's so powerful to have, because that person can put your names in places in that table that you probably never could get there without them, right? So that's so powerful. So powerful. And so what are some strategies, Dr. Geneva, you would give to women who are looking to move up the corporate ladder? Because when you were in corporate America, you went all the way to the top, okay? You went all the way to the top. And so what are some strategies you would give to those listeners that are working to get there, that they're looking to be the next VP or president of their company?
Well, I think one of the things I would say first is that you're probably good enough. I say that because I've noticed that so many, particularly women, have what I'm learning the name of it, imposter syndrome. That feeling that you're fake, you're not good enough, you're just there by luck. And when I first heard the term, I said, "What is that? What's imposter syndrome? How could I ever call myself an imposter of faith. I don't believe that. And then when I began to read about it and talk to people about it, I said, I know about that. That's that self-doubt that you have. That's that questioning yourself. I've been there, done that. I've had it. I haven't put that label on it. And sometimes it looks like racism or sexism, where actually people are feeling or telling you or that you're not good enough, putting up barriers, not letting you into circles, etc. So we as women in particular, in business, in corporate C-suites, in life, we will be facing these situations. And I like to say to women, first of all, you are good enough, okay? So believing in yourself, fighting, trying to reduce, eliminate, defeat that doubt about yourself is very important. Secondly, I think, and one of the ways to help defeat doubt is to prepare yourself so that you make sure that you have, your best in class, that you have, in fact, prepared yourself. You do have the skills. You are studying and reading, and you're up on what's happening in your industry, and you're listening and learning in the various rooms that you're going to be in, that you're always very attuned to what's happening so that you are an expert, in fact, in what you do. Thirdly, I would suggest, and it's almost the opposite of what I said to be prepared, and that is that you go for it even when you think that you're not as fully ready as perhaps you might think you need to be. One of the things as women, we feel we have to be so super prepared, and we will wait to jump at before we jump at opportunities to be fully prepared. And most of the times, we really are there. We really are ready. It's just a matter of believing that in your head. So the third thing I would suggest is jump at those opportunities. Try it out if something comes up. If, you're going to make mistakes, that's part of the game. But jumping at those new opportunities, new positions, new offerings that are there is something that I think is very important to keep yourself fresh and motivated and to continue to be out front and trying to achieve what you want to. And then, Ashley, I think it's so important to take care of yourself. So often when we're in this race to be the best, all the way to the top, making it, getting that corner office, we forget how important the priority of taking care of me is. And so, particularly as women, we have what I believe is a, God-given ability, a wonderful ability to care and nurture for others. I really think that's a beautiful thing that we have. And but sometimes we don't turn that back on ourselves like we should. So that while we're doing everything for everyone, taking care of everyone else, we forget ourselves. And we often are our brand, particularly if you're an entrepreneur, let's say, and you're a solo entrepreneur, you're running your business, you are your brand. And if you're in that corporate world, you are your brand. And so it's important for you to take care of yourself.
Powerful, powerful. So I hope you all are writing these names down, because she pretty much just gave you the blueprint on how to get all the way to the top if you are in corporate America and you're looking to be an executive. So Dr. Geneva, you're also CEO and founder of Dr. Geneva Speaks LLC. So tell us more about the different services that you offer and how you can help some of these listeners that might need a coach or leadership strategies to help them, get to those goals that they have.
Well, one of the reasons that I started my company, so Ashley, I made the switch as in later life from this world of nonprofits and corporate and raising millions of dollars for community initiatives. I switched from that to becoming an entrepreneur in my 60s. And it was something I wanted to do because I wanted to have, I wanted to be able to reach many, many more women and to help many more in these areas of what I call learning success strategies, particularly for women over 50. Because when I turned 50, it was a change. I mean, it was a change I really didn't expect. It was things like my mother never told me about. And I've run into so many women who are experiencing the same thing, everything from the body changes, physical changes, the questioning of, well, what do I do next? What's happening with my career? I've lived a half a century now, but I'm not done yet. What can I do? And I believe that we can start businesses. And in fact, the fastest growing group of people are those in their 50s, who are 50s and 60s, who are women, who are starting businesses, who are going into new careers, who are really trying to find the prime of their life in the second half of their life. But there are also a number of women who just don't know what to do, how to get started, how to reimagine the second part of their life. How do you keep living vibrantly in your 50s, 60s, and even 70s and 80s? Because that's how long we're going to live. And so it isn't about actually living long, but how do we live long vibrantly and in good health? And with purpose in doing the things that we want to do. So that's what I do. That's what I set up the business for, to consult, to coach women. I have an online course called the Vibrant Life Blueprint. I have a Facebook group called Extraordinary Women Influencers, where we talk about the various techniques, tips, advice, strategies to continue to be extraordinary. And we're all ordinary, but we manage to do extraordinary things in our life. And I put together a whole variety of ebooks and books about the subject, including, Ashley, 15 strategies that women over 50 ought to know. And this is all about change management. And so if you have anyone who's listening who wants to visit me at drgenevaspeaks.com, you can get that free gift. And those are the kinds of things that I'm doing now, Ashley. I'm just having a ball, writing books, creating content, creating courses that can help women, and talking and speaking on those issues that we face as women over 50 who still want to have a vibrant life. And in fact, we can design the life that we love.
Wow. Powerful, 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 powerful. That's so important, right? That's so important. Like you said, you take care of yourself, you be healthy, and that you live long, right? Having that vibrant life. So what are some self-care tips that you would give to listeners, definitely listeners that are over 50, that are trying to find that balance, What are some self-care tips you would give to them?
Well, I like to suggest to women over 50 that they plan self-care activities that can help them look good, feel good, and do good. And so what I mean by that is that feel good is, of course, your physical health, that you should be extremely accountable, responsible, and aware of your health, how you're feeling. Take all of the tests you should be taking, get the sleep and drink the water you should be drinking. But also, the feeling good has to do with being balanced and in your purpose. So it's very important to know what it is you want to do in life, to really reflect and ask yourself, what's my purpose? And what is it I want to do? And go about and get it. So I think that's what feeling good is: being healthy, being physically fit, and also living in purpose and being balanced. The look good part is that not just a physical appearance, but in fact that you feel even more confident internally. You feel confident, you're empowered, and it just oozes out your skin, Ashley. And it's the way that you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, and all of that is about looking good. And then the third of doing good, that really is about how you, how you express yourself, how you speak up, and how you influence not only yourself, but what you do for others, and how you think about legacy. Because one of the things I think about, I think it's very important in terms of us as women, that particularly for our children, that we are every day constantly being in role model mode. We're role models. Our children watch us, young people watch us, people watch us. And so being a role model and thinking about today, your legacy, what is it that you want to, how is it that you want to leave every room? What is it that you want to leave for people? What's your power? What it is that you want to say and do? And I think the combination of all of those things really helps with our self-care. And thinking about that and planning activities and scheduling activities in each category: looking good, feeling good, doing something for someone, reading a book, learning how to say no, getting your sleep, drinking water. There's so many different activities that fall in those categories that I think if we really think about them and ask ourselves, well, what can I do so that I look good? What can I do today that makes me feel good? And how can I give back to someone else so that I can do good for myself and somebody else? So these are the kinds of questions and self-care tips and techniques that I think are important.
Wow, powerful, powerful. And thanks for sharing those tips, Dr. Geneva, because that is so important. That is key, right? That's key, because if you're not healthy inside, you're not going to be here long, right? Burnout is real. Burnout is real. That's always.
That's true. And, someone said that, everybody wants to live a long life, but nobody wants to grow old. Mm-hmm. And, that growing old process, oftentimes, it scares us. And we don't know what it's about, and we're not sure of it. That's why I think right here, right now, we should make a plan for it. What do we want to look like? What do we want to do in later life? What do we want to be? What's our purpose? What's the design for our life? And we can do that right now, Ashley. Whatever age you're at, we can think about that and begin to plan for it and to really, one of the things I believe, and I'm a believer in personal action plans, and that one of the key success strategies to living the life that you love is to have your own personal action plan. And that's one of the things that I help women with developing. And one of the reasons that I like having a plan is because besides motivating you and kind of helping you figure out what it is you want to do, a plan, when you're making a plan, when you have a plan, it helps you focus on the solution. It helps you focus on the action, what to do. And so we can, in fact, say to ourselves or ask ourselves, now, when I turn 50, when I turn 60, when I'm in my 70s, how do I want my life to be? What do I want my life to look like? We can ask ourselves, and we can begin to design what that is. And that's what I think is so critical for us to do, particularly as women.
So when women are, designing and you're working with them on their plan, what are some things that you see from women? Do you see a lot of self-doubt? Do you see a lot of fear? Because fear is real. And so do you see a lot of that when it comes down to putting everything in writing on paper of, writing those action plans?
Yeah, I do. I see the fear, I see the doubt, the uncertainty. And I think that's, sometimes that uncertainty is, really natural because we're unsure about what's next. Because, particularly when you're in your 50s and you turn back and you look and you say, I've lived a half a century. Like, what is next? And sometimes, I know for me, I had thought that it would be different. I'd be at a different place, or I would have done more or seen more or traveled more, something. And I had to really stop and think about that. And so what I see is a lot of uncertainty, and that's the way I know I felt, unsure of, well, what is next? And so we go through a process of saying, okay, yeah, uncertainty, almost everybody uncertainty, particularly in these days and times, everybody got something to worry about. Okay, so let's first acknowledge that, but then secondly, let's spend some time in imagining what the future could look like. Just daydreaming. It doesn't bother anybody or hurt you or nothing. You can just sit for a moment and just dream, just daydream. So we go through a process of where we actually, daydream and think. Like when you were a kid, and you had all these dreams and what you want to do, what you want to be when you grow up, etc. Well, we recreate that, and so that you imagine your future, you do visioning and, that ideal state. And that's a fun thing to do, and it's eye-opening, and I have a series of life design questions that I'll have people respond to, like if I had 3 wishes, if I could wave a magic wand and get anything, I would. And then they fill that in, and it really causes you to really think and deep and reflect. So once we spend time doing that, Ashley, then we get into, okay, so let's step back now. What do you have to do to make what you just imagined come true? And that's where we get into the meat and the nitty-gritty of designing, planning, figuring out the action steps. What are the goals? What are the steps? What are the tasks? What are the timelines? And, really begin to put time frames and, being very concrete about what are the steps. And then you really have your game plan. You add into that accountabilities, because so many times, we can put a goal, start a goal, or start something, and then it doesn't last. So I work with women to teach them the techniques to stay on track, okay? Because there are certain things that you can do to stay on track. And so we work through all that. And then I usually put in a self-care plan, some kind of plan, calendar, scheduling self-care, because, that has got to be, a part of what we do to take care of ourselves. And, Ashley, self-care isn't just getting a massage.
Right.
That's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. Hey, get that massage every time you can. It's fabulous. But there's social, mental, emotional, physical, different aspects of self-care. Everything from, reading a good book, lighting candles, taking that vacation, learning how to say no, okay, is a self-care activity. There's a whole range of aspects to your life that need self-care. So we actually create what I call a self-care calendar. And so where you actually schedule self-care activities. You plan it and you schedule it and you put it down. And so it rises up in a level of importance in your life. And particularly for us, as women, we're so busy sometimes, taking care of everyone else and making sure everything else is in place, so that when you actually go through a process of where you schedule your self-care on a calendar, it really puts it in your face. And that's sometimes what we need to do. So that's kind of a overview of the process. And yes, there's a lot of, different feelings and uncertainty, and I'm not sure when we start out, but by the time we're at the end of it, Ashley, women who have a game plan are fearless, but, they're out there. They're awesome warriors. So they want to win. So they, because they got this plan. And so they move on.
I love it. So powerful, so powerful. And thanks for sharing that, because especially about self-care, like you said, it's more than a massage, okay? And we got to learn to normalize self-care, embrace self-care, embrace taking care of ourselves, and embrace getting, like you said, getting old, right? We got to embrace that, right? Because we're supposed to feel vibrant. We're going to live long, and we got to take care of ourselves so we can get there. That's a great thing. It's not a bad thing. Right.
It's a beautiful thing. I know I want to be. And one of the things that I share with women is that when we think about our self-care plan, it's important to think of, well, why? Why are we doing that? Because that why, knowing your why, is often a very powerful motivator. So I know when I got into my 50s and started, I just didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I was so uncertain. I just knew that I wanted to keep, wasn't done yet, and I wanted to keep on living. But Ashley, I decided that, well, I just don't want the years to pile up. I want to live healthily. I want to be healthy, and I want to live vibrantly. And that's what I kind of decided for myself. And that's what I, said, well, this is what I want to do. And that's when I began to go through my, the failures and the mistakes and learnings and all of this, and kept on going and going until, here 20 years later, I'm living vibrantly. And so I defined what that was for myself. And each of us can do that. We can define for ourselves what we want our life to look like. Sometimes it's kind of scary to get started doing that. That's one of the reasons I developed the Vibrant Life Blueprint, which is an online course that takes women through the process of setting up a vision and setting goals and, learning how to be influential over 50 and the self-care calendar and all of that, and taking, women through that process, because it is a process and it doesn't happen overnight, and you got to put in the hard work to get it done, but you can do it, and you can live a vibrant life, however you define that to be.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you for just, sharing that and shining light on that, because that is so, so, so important. So I just think about the Naomi, I think that's her name, tennis player, that she stepped away this week because of the mental health. She didn't want to answer any questions from the press, to protect her mental health. So I thought about that. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have an age number on it. It doesn't have an age on taking care of your mental and your self-care and just take care of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. That's right. Absolutely. And I think one of the things that is very important is we realize it's important to realize that impact is ageless, I believe, and I think we can do anything at any age. And now more and more, you're seeing women doing things at later ages, starting businesses, starting new careers, transitioning from, switching lanes from one career to another, writing books, doing podcasts, just doing exciting things, traveling. All of that is happening. Being politically active. There's so much more that we can do that our mothers didn't do. And so we're now the role models also for the generations coming behind us, those of us who are in our 50s and 60s who, in fact, are stepping out there and doing things. And it's never, like I said, it's never too early to start thinking about and planning. So what are you going to do? So if you're in your 40s, to think about, well, what am I going to do in later life? And how can I, in fact, what will I be doing? And how can I contribute? And I also think, Ashley, that this is the time, it's just such a wonderful, wonderful time for us, particularly as women, to be thinking about how we can contribute and being active in our community. Again, however you define that. Whether you're volunteering at or with a nonprofit to teach young children how to read, or whether you're contributing financially to a cause, or whether you're out peacefully protesting, or whether you're running for office, whatever it is, this is our time. And whatever age you're at, it doesn't matter. You can do it. You can bring your skills and your experiences and your dreams to the forefront, and you can do it. It's just a matter of getting started, taking that first right step.
It's so powerful. There's so much power in just doing it and getting started. So thanks for shining light on that. And so let's talk about your podcast, Ignite to Impact Podcast.
Yes.
The people that you're looking to interview and how people can be a guest if they meet your qualifications.
Oh, absolutely. Well, for anyone who would like to come on Ignite to Impact, you'd go to my website, Dr. Geneva Speaks, and you can sign up to be a guest there. And while you're there, again, I got that gift for you. Well, I've got a couple of gifts. One is I put together these 52 tips for how you can enhance your everyday leadership. How you can improve your communication, how you coordinate, how you work in the community. It's really a fun little quick guide, and that's a free gift for you, as well as the change strategies that every woman over 50 needs to know. So while you're there, check that out. But my podcast, Ignite to Impact, Ashley, I started that when I had I was really in a deep funk. I was in the dark. I was, in a very lonely journey because I had just lost my husband of 40 years. We had a beautiful marriage, and I also had lost my mom and dad around the same time. And I was really very, very depressed and a lot of grief, did not know what I was going to do or how I was going to do. I was completely, lost and didn't know how, take that next right step. I had not a clue. I didn't even want to get off my knees, least of all take a step. And a friend of mine had suggested to me that I start a podcast. And I said, wait a minute, what cast? What is that? And so I started this podcast, and I would, every week, I would plug in my phone to my laptop and go on Blog Talk Radio and would talk to everyday folk from all around the country who were making a difference, whether it was in their community, on their job, in themselves. They were just making a difference, and they would share their success stories and secrets and strategies to making an impact. And they would talk about all the trials and tribulations they would go through in unleashing this influence, these influences they would have, and they were achieving incredible results. And it was just so fascinating. So I would listen to that and interview them. And in their stories, I began to find more and more of a purpose for me and my life and what I could do next, because I didn't know where I was going next. But by listening to these success stories, these stories of success and failure, and learning and listening to how people can, in fact, unleash their influence and create extraordinary impact, everyday, ordinary folk. And it was just incredible. So I began to do that, and then I began to do more podcasts, and finally, I'm like at about 200 podcasts that I've been doing, talking to people all over the country about how they're unleashing their influence to make a positive difference. And it's great conversations, great learnings, and it certainly helped me discover or rediscover and reimagine my purpose, and understand that each and every one of us can do that. We can, figure out what we're going to do with that dash, that horizontal stroke in between our birth and our death. That stroke, that dash is where the meaning is in life. And that's what my podcast is all about, hearing from people about how they're living and unleashing their impact in their dash, in their life, to make a difference. And we can all learn from those success stories and strategies. And so that's what Ignite to Impact is. And so if any of your listeners want to share their stories, we would love to, I love talking to them and sharing their incredible wisdom and what they've learned and how we can change the world together.
Amazing. So make sure if you're listening to go, if you want to be interviewed, go share your story. Sharing your story is powerful. Dr. Geneva has an amazing platform. I was blessed to be a guest on her platform.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago.
We got so many. I know you were amazing. Amazing. It was just so great talking with you and just learning so much over and over and over again from your wonderfulness and all the things you do, especially with HBCUs. I love it.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so humble. Thank you, Dr. Geneva, for that opportunity and just the opportunity to continue to work with you and how you just inspiring people all over the world. I mean, as we all know, we've heard her bio, how you just, broke glass ceilings all your life, okay? And that's powerful, right? Being the first multiple times, and that's powerful as a woman, and that's powerful as a Black woman, And so kudos to you.
Well, I appreciate that, Ashley, and thank you so much. But as my mama always told me, don't matter if you first, make sure you ain't the last. Mm-hmm. And that the responsibility I had in being the first was to make sure that there were others, that I was opening the door, busting barriers. The reason to break those ceilings was so that break those glass ceilings was so that others could come in and get their seat at the table. You understand that, Ashley, because you were always creating those tables. And my mama and daddy taught me that that's the responsibility I had, and that's what life was about.
And you're seeing the fruits of your labor on a daily. You're seeing the fruits of your labor on a daily basis, and we're all seeing it, right, all over the world with Kamala Harris walking in the White House. Okay,
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Ain't she bad? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So, yes.
She's just so right. You know what? She's all of our sisters. When she walked in the White House, we all walked in the White House.
I'm telling you, didn't we? Didn't we? All of us did. All of us did. And that was, I was talking with someone today about who did not go to an HBCU and the incredible experience of being at an HBCU, pledging a sorority. It's something that you take with you and you have with you forever. But I remember being on the campus and constantly being nurtured and supported and seeing excellence, Black excellence in particular, every time I turned around, everywhere. It was there with support and love, and it was just an incredible experience.
Powerful product, right? That shows you, and I'm all about that. We talked about that on your podcast. The product of going to an HBCU, right? The product of going to one, and just being able to go out and really continue to break these glass ceilings and really change the narrative, right? So I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what can we expect from Dr. Geneva the rest of 2021? We are getting ready to finish out quarter 2. We're getting ready to walk into quarter 3. What can we expect from you the rest of the year?
Well, I'm planning a couple things. I am planning for my Vision 2022, and that is I did Vision 2020, which was on Martin Luther King Day, January the 20th, 2020, and it was an amazing experience where about 200 women came together to celebrate together the day of service, where we honored those who were giving service, and we contributed to an organization serving women, and we spent the day planning our personal action plans and planning our vision and finding out the best ways, learning the best ways to write a compelling vision. So we spent a lot of time doing that and having fun and good food. And then we had a fireside chat on looking good, feeling good, and doing good. And so we actually got into some deep dialogue with some experts about how you make that happen. It was a phenomenal day. Of course, 2 months later, we hit COVID. So my plans to have this as an annual event will pick up again Martin Luther King Day in January 2022. So I'm in the midst of planning that. And then I'm planning some more, just everything I can do to help women with developing and designing their blueprint. So I'm putting out this course on, again, designing your personal action plan. I just finished 3 sessions with AARP. They were virtual events, national events, where I was teaching how to develop a personal action plan for 2021. And I went through the whole, step by step. And you can still see it if you go to the Michigan AARP site. That it's on there. So I want to be doing more of that. So I'll be developing more trainings, more teachings, more speaking, more opportunities for women to design the life they love. And I got a couple books in the works. I've been asked to, I did Living Life Over 50. And so I've been asked to do a repeat, volume 2 of that, where I can, where I'll be talking, again about how you can create your most vibrant style, how you can find love and figure out what's next for you. So there'll be a volume 2 of that. And so that's very exciting. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Still growing my Facebook group, Extraordinary Women Influencers. We hit 1,000 members, and I'm so excited because I just started that group, and so we've got 1,000 members in it. So if any of your listeners want to join Extraordinary Women Influencers on Facebook, please come on. And so, those are the things I'll be doing, and then I'll be spending a lot of time with my grandchildren, as always, and getting back out and traveling. I am looking so much forward to traveling. Again.
Amazing. And make sure you all join Dr. Geneva's group, Extraordinary Influencers. It's amazing. I'm a part of it. You will get a lot of knowledge and wisdom and just, coaching in her group. So make sure you all follow her group and support and get involved. Get involved. You are the people that you connect with, and connections matter. Connections matter, and relationships are currency.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. I should also mention, Ashley, that I'm very active with Morgan State University, which was the HBCU that I went to and graduated from. So I'm on the foundation board there, and we're, planning homecoming and all those wonderful things about this. There's so many students who are going to Morgan and, just having a wonderful experience. So it's just really great being able to go back and help out the students, the young people who are there now, trying to get that great HBCU experience at the National Treasure, which Morgan is. So I'll be spending more time with my alma mater.
Yes, you are, because there's nothing like that HBCU experience, okay?
That's right.
I love it. Well, Dr. Geneva, it has been a pleasure to interview you tonight again, have you back at the table. You always bring so much wisdom and knowledge and value to myself and the audience. And so we appreciate you, and I cannot wait to invite you back to the table.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley. I admire all the work that you're doing, and I loved your magazine.
Thank you.
The latest issue. It is just really great. You do so much and bring such joy and power everyone. So it's just really my pleasure that I can have this conversation with you. Thank you.
You are welcome, Dr. Geneva, and congratulations on all the great things that you have already done and are getting ready to do in this new year. And I look forward to continuing to collaborate and work with you.
Look forward to it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. So I would like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, who is a Tennessee State University alumni. And I would also like to give a special thanks to my intern, Vontaria, who is a student at Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Dr. Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities,